students, good afternoon and welcome to our maths class. I believe that you are enjoying every lesson that is coming on your way through this video. Our topic today is doubling, and it is from the word double. So we have to understand what is the meaning of doubling and then how it's applied in our maths lessons. When doubling a number, you add the number to itself. That means when you want to double 3, you have to add another 3. Okay, so 3 and 3, it means you are doubling it. Again, you can also multiply that number by 2. So when you also multiply the number that you want to double by 2, it means that you are ending up doubling. So the example that we have will be, let's say we have 3 and we want to double 3. So it becomes 3 plus 3, that will give us 6. If we want to double, let's say 24, we will have 24 plus 24, and that will give us 48. So the first part of this example means that we are adding the number to itself. Okay, so to itself means the same number. So you have 3 here and you add another 3. So you add the number to itself. You get 6. The second part of how you can double is also multiplying the number that you want to double by 2. So this is the illustration or the example. So we want to double 3. So we multiply 2 by 3 and that will give us 6. So either way, either you add the number by itself or you multiply by 2 is going to give you the same answer, which is a double of that particular number that you are working on. So 24 times 2 will give you 48, the same as 24 plus 24 is giving you 48. So doubling means you are making the same kind of that number and another one add together. Okay, so assuming you have a number already and you are supposed to reverse, okay, that means you are supposed to identify which number was added to itself or multiplied by 2 to get the double. How do you handle situations like that? And that situation is what we call to reverse doubling. To reverse doubling means you are going back to the first number that you were dealing with before you double it up to get a bigger number. To do that, when reversing doubling, that number is divided by 2. So anytime you want to reverse a doubling, assuming you have 6 and you want to reverse it to know what number that you double to get 6, you have to divide that particular number by 2. So example here is that 3 plus 3 will give us 6. So now we want to reverse our operation back so that we will know what number that we used to double to get 6. We have to divide that number by 2. So when we divide 6 by 2, we get 3. And 3 is what we use to add it up to get our double number. I hope that you have understood up to this point and you are prepared to have your first activity. So our first activity, which is task 1, will be from the learner's book, page 56. There's actually a matching numbers there, okay? So you see this group of numbers. So these groups of numbers are the first numbers that we are dealing with. These numbers has been doubled and these are the results that we have here. So what you need to do is that you need to find the double of, let's say, 98, and then the answer that you get, you find it somewhere here. So you match it to the answer here. You have 124, you find the double of 124 and you match your answer to this particular one. If you not clear, you still can ask me through our interaction on Telegram as we meet in and then we do it. Okay, so afterwards we meet in our second video. Hello students, welcome back to our second video. So on this section we have been doing how to double our various numbers as we did in our first activity. In this video what we'll be doing is that we'll be going through doubling as well, but it's going to come out with different aspects of number identification. Okay, so there are these keywords that we need to remind ourselves of, which I know that you know them already, but we need to remind ourselves of them now as well. So already we are doing doubling, and double means that you have to add what you have by itself, or you have to multiply by 2. That means you are doubling it. Okay, so what is digits? Digits are the individual numbers that we put them together to form large numbers. And how many digits do we have? We have 10 different digits. Digits start from 0, 1 up to 9. These individual numbers that we use and join them to form bigger numbers are what we call digits. I believe you remember what your odd numbers are. So when we say odd, okay, so we can say odd and we mean the odd numbers. So odd numbers are numbers that you cannot divide by 2 exactly without having a remainder. That means odd numbers, when you divide them by 2, you always going to have a remainder, and that numbers are odd. So an example of an odd number, you can say 3, you can say 5, you can say 7, and you can say 9 as well. You can also have 2-digit numbers that will be odd numbers, and that's so. Remember that odd numbers are numbers that when you divide by 2, you have a remainder. Even numbers. Even numbers are numbers that when you when you divide by 2, you don't have any remainder. Okay, so when you divide 4 by 2, there is no remainder. That means it is an even number as well. Do you remember your number place cards, where you have to identify your ones, your tens, your hundreds, and that of the thousands? Very good. If you remember them, that is very good, because you need them for this second activity that we're going to do. Okay, so assuming you have, let's say let's say 30. Okay, so when you have 30, it means let's bring our 30 down small. Okay, so we bring our 30 down here. So let's say we have 30. So how many tens do you have in 30? It means that we'll have 3 tens. Okay, so 3 tens is equal to 30. If we have 20, it means that we have 2 of tens coming up to make 20, and it goes on like that. Okay, now even numbers, example of even numbers, we can say 2, we can say 10, we can say 20, we can also say 40, and it continues like that. So these are numbers that when you divide by 2, there is no remainder. Odd numbers, you can start with, let's say 1, you can start with 3, and then you can go to, let's say 27, you can go to 49, like that. Okay, so that these numbers, when you always divide them by 2, you're not going to have them successfully. You have a remainder. Okay, and then we come back to our doubling. We can say 12 plus 12 will give us 24, or we say 12 times 2 will also give us 24. Okay, so it continues like that. Okay, so to move on to our second activity, this is what we're going to do. We'll go to our skills builder section, pages 44 and that of 45. You see this table there. You have your single digits. Okay, so single digits are the individual numbers. You have to find the double of these digits and you put the double here. And then you have to indicate from here, what you get here, you have to indicate if your answers are even or they are odd numbers. Over here, you have multiples of 5. You have to double them and then show how many tens that you have in your answers and you write them here. So this is your second activity. When you finish, we'll move to our last video. See you. Hello students, welcome back to our final episode on our lesson doubling. So we have understood that doubling means that we are adding the number to itself or we are multiplying that number by 2. To reverse our doubling, we have to divide by 2 and that will get us back to the first number that we were dealing with, and that will give us our first number that we started with. Okay, we went through some keywords that will help us to also identify what a digit is, what an odd number is, what an even, and then we also reminded ourselves about our number cards or place value cards that are tens. You actually did well in your first and second activities, and I would like to say well done to all of you. Whilst we conclude our lesson today, we will have our homework from the challenge book, and that will be from page 40. You are supposed to complete the grid. That looks like a table form over there. You're supposed to complete that one. If you have any questions on the homework, you are to ask me and I will get you the answers to help you complete your homework. Thank you for joining class, and I will see you again next week. Goodbye.